There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. So, yeah, been a rough morning. Nothing has worked properly. So if you guys were in on the first quick video, I couldn't adjust chat settings. It could possibly be. This could all the problems I'm having this morning, with the exception of one, could be looked at, and it could possibly be that there's an AT&T outage right now. So that could be it. And we may have some audio issues because I'm going to get up and move around. I'm trying something new to see if I can still move around with this device as opposed to the other one. Let's see. So tell me if the audio sounds weird, but I got to go out here to the kitchen and get something. Because I found a different way to set up for these live feeds as opposed to the way that I don't know why I didn't think of it before. I have a charger mount. It's a magnetic mount that charges the phone as I'm using it. So like, I don't know why I didn't think of it before. It doesn't require the use of that adapter that is finicky. So if the audio still does the audio still sound good? I just dropped the receiver. So I'm only connecting the receiver as opposed to a power cord and a bunch of other stuff. So if the audio gets weird, let me know. So let's go ahead and plug this back in. Did the audio change at all when I did that? How's the audio sound? Does it sound like you would expect it to? There we go. There we go. We should be good and connected. So I forgot that we even had this at the house. It's one of those little magnetic mounts that like it sits on the back like a fast charger. And I forgot I even had it, which makes it so much easier to connect. Not gonna lie, it makes it way easier to connect the audio because there's not like, the way I usually do it, there's a connector and then there's the cord for the microphone receiver, then there's the cord for the power. This is just one cord. It's one cord. And then there's the power cord going into it. Check, check, check. My shoulder really hurts. So I have been lucky enough here just in the last few weeks to be given a couple of really cool gifts. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say up front that these are reproductions. Like it hurts to even hold a knife. Like that hurts. Like doing that, I don't even have anything in my hand and it hurts. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm not working construction anymore. I couldn't do it. And guys, if you are here, please drop a like, just double tap the screen. But there's a lot of movies that use knives. It can be the good guys' knives, it can be the villains' knives, all that stuff. And I can adjust this a little bit lower like that. But knives are a really big part of a lot of movies. Nuh-uh. Uh-huh. There's a lot of knives that are part of movies. They can be good guy knives, like the ones that I particularly prefer, or they can be bad guy knives. You know, it's just one of those things. If you guys ever watch, I use nunchucks because I'm a ninja. All right, Corn Pop. Corn Pop, haven't we like had issues with you being a troll? Like you can stick around, just don't be a troll. I don't want to have to like escort anyone for the chat for making it unfun. I don't, it's typically like, I don't like politics and I don't like religion in my live feeds. And I definitely don't like things that are intentionally made to make the viewers uncomfortable. So if that's what you want to do, just know, Corn Pop, that it will be taken down. I'm watching you. Yeah, my moderators are watching you. But at any rate, what I was saying is there's a lot of movie knives. And there's knives that you don't think about that are in a lot of different movies. And what made me really start thinking about it was I got my cold steel taipan. My buddy let me use his points. And this knife has been in more movies that I can count, but it never really, see, these things aren't ever credited. Like you have to go through forums. Like I know that this was used in The Crow. This is what the dude with all the knives carried. He carried two of these. This is a cold steel taipan. And it has been in so many movies because it's an awesome looking dagger. As a matter of fact, I'm on the fence. I'm almost 100% positive that in the original Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie, they put a skull on top of this, or had Cold Steel make one of these with a skull instead of the skull cracker. So this is a knife that has been in a ton of movies, and you know, you see it in a lot, and this is one I always liked, and I remember seeing this in a bunch of different movies. So this is a really fun one. It's not really a movie-specific knife, but it's been in a lot of movies. And you can see that's a cool look. Now I did sharpen this. I sharpened this, and Harry Savage. Okay, that's funny. All right, that's a funny one. That's a good one. I haven't heard that one in a while. I had heard that's a good one. There's all kinds of. My dad and I used to joke, and I'm like, "You sure I'm not adopted? Because I'm so much like different physically from my father. Even though I know he's my father, I'm more like my mother's side of the family." I would look at my dad. That's a good one too. So my dad used to joke. I was like, "Are you sure I'm not adopted?" And he's like, "Boy, when you're adopted, you get a choice." Now, as I've aged, if you guys remember when you saw all the videos when we went to go visit my father before he passed away, and I took you guys with me, I absolutely am a tall version of my father. Like facially, actions, like just the way everything about it. I am definitely, if that one gets me to the pot belly. But there are knives that are specific to movies. So if you guys remember, I don't have the Rambo, the first Rambo knife. I had it in a video, and you guys may not have seen that. It's a completely demonetized video, by the way, because I used the music from the videos. I had my buddy's replica, what do you call it? It was a replica Lyle. And so Lyle, if you don't know, Lyle knives, they made the first two Rambo knives. Now this is a replica, as is the next one. The next one is well, it's almost a knockoff. But this is a replica of the Rambo knife that was made for the second Rambo movie. Now the first knife had the green cord wrap for the first movie. This was a larger knife. This is dimensionally accurate. This is a big knife, and this is a knife that everybody... Okay, yeah, we're not here for jokes. That's not what we're here for. It's funny, but we're gonna... you know what, I'll leave it, but just like, kind of like... Is it illegal to have a tiger skin grip? If it's actual tiger skin, then yes. But this is big. This is a big knife. And so to put things in perspective, guys, I wear XXL gloves. All right. Let's see here. We gotta, moderators like kind of kindly help me keep the trolls, the spam trolls, to a minimum, because it makes it difficult for you guys. Hello from Norway. When did they outlaw that? You mean tiger skin? Well, tiger skin is actual. Tiger skin is actually, because it's an endangered species. That's why that's illegal. But this, I mean, actual tiger skin, yeah. But this is amazing. So I'm not going to try and even do your username. Why are they always so weird? Endangered species, materials from endangered species are illegal these days. Like I know a guy, or was it a guy that I read the story about, or was it a guy that was in a book that I read? But it is absolutely illegal. He had a cowboy hat that had a leopard skin band. And he wore it out of the country, and when he tried to come back, he got in trouble, and they confiscated that, and they pressed charges. And it was something that he had had since before the prohibition against it. And so it's just it's like ivory. You can't have ivory anymore because of ivory harvesting. It's just one of those things. But at any rate, Lyle designed a knife for this movie. And the actual Lyles are very expensive, but this is a replica, like one for one, absolutely. You can see here, it says Rambo, First Blood, Part 2 on the blade, and it's packaged in the thing. There's a lot of companies that would do this. United Cutlery was really, really famous for taking these movie knives and then turning them into an affordable replica. The one that's over here, we're gonna get to in a minute. It has the markings, the company markings on it, which I'm not a fan of, but it doesn't have the actual like maker's mark on it. It just has the knife as it appeared in the movie. So those markings I'm not too upset with. It's really, really close to a knockoff, but it doesn't have the company markings. But this has everything that the original movie knife had. It's got the butt cap with the compass and all that. Now, bladed ginger. Now, I will tell you, this doesn't work. Why? Because it's a steel butt cap with a compass set in it. It doesn't work, but that's okay. I'm not going to actually be using this knife. This is probably going to be like a wall hanger. I may start taking some of my favorite movie knives and putting them on the wall back here. Like find a way to put these up on the wall, just some hooks or something. But it's cool. It came with a nice little sheath. And this was one of my favorite knives that I saw in a movie. And I mean, when you watch the movie, this is so close. Like it is almost identical. But I've seen an actual Lyle. And an actual Lyle is a much, much better knife than this. So I need Raiden's frequency blade from Metal Gear Solid. I wanted to put knives on the wall, but anxiety prevented. They're going to definitely be in some fashion to prevent them from falling off the wall. But here's one that gets overlooked. And I saw the movie, and I did a double take. So knife guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. Knife guys, this is one of the things that's fun. Knife guys will watch a movie, and when somebody has a knife, we're those guys that'll pause it and be looking at it. It's like, that's a Spyderco. What Spyderco is that? Is that the Harpy? Well, if you know what movie I'm talking about, it's Hannibal. He used the Spyderco Harpy to eviscerate the guy. Bad guys from movie Cobra. My buddy has one of those knives coming. The one with the spiked grip has one coming. But I watched the movie Priest. Do you guys remember that movie Priest that came out a few years ago? It was the vampire movie with Keith, what's his name? Keith Urban, Kevin Urban, I can't remember what his name is, but he played Judge Dredd and he played Bones in the new reboot of Star Trek. At any rate, there's a knife in that movie and I recognized it immediately, and it's kind of a rare knife. And this is the cool thing about being a knife guy when you're watching movies and you see it's cutting edge technology. That's funny. Wait, is that a paddle in your corner on your wall? No. That was given to me when I retired from the Department of Defense. There's a lot of different ones. That one is one. I have another one when I retired. I have one when I transferred from Naval Expeditionary Combat Command. I was over at MESF. I got one that's a different color. I got one when I retired. I got one, and I got this one when I quit from the government job I was doing. I was doing counter surveillance and physical security and counterterrorism. I got that one when I transferred up there. So that's the nicest one. I mean, it's funny that that's the nicest one I have, but yeah, that one's up there. But this knife was in the movie Priest. This is the Cold Steel Sisu. And so the Cold Steel, you were second Marines. I can't read it. I don't have my reading glasses on. Hello, Kelly. At any rate, so this knife was in the movie Priest. The good guy carried this knife, and I knew I was like, and I paused the movie. Yeah, I even did the one eyebrow up thing. I paused the movie and I rewound it, and then I went on my phone and watched it, and I took a screenshot and I zoomed in, and I was absolutely able to see that it was the Cold Steel Sisu. And that's one of the weird things about this knife. This is one of the few knives that Cold Steel made. Like, they made a handful of these knives that were super mirror polished. I did not do anything to this. You can see the plants in our living room. You can see the umbrella plant and the peacock plant in the reflection of this. This thing is a very cool knife, and it's pretty rare. And I was able to get one of these when they came out, and they didn't stick around very long. I've had it for a long time. And this thing is insanely sharp. So this is the old school. So you can see how I've had it for a while. It's got the silver nickel. It's been in its leather sheath for a while in a bin in the spare room. And so I got this out, and this thing has got a little bit of verdigris. That's what you call the green stuff on it. But yeah, I'll clean it up later. But this is a knife that I never expected to see in a movie. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, that is cool. And there's some knives now I don't have the actual movie knife. You guys want to see the big one that was the big one that I always wanted? So Jack Crane made a knife called the Life Support System. And there was a Life Support System 1, 2, and 3, I believe, and they were insane survival knives. And they were in the movie Commando. He made a lot of the knives for Commando. And he made, this knife was in the movie Commando. Now, not this knife. This is not an actual crane. This is a replica of the Life Support System from the movie Commando. You can see Life Support System 1, Commando, the movie it was in. And this was the knife that Arnold Schwarzenegger carried in that movie. At the end, this was the final fight when he was like, come on, Bennett, let's potty. Because he had to poop, I guess. He had to potty. But this thing is another really, really cool replica. This one's really well done. Like, this one is solid, solid. It has a working compass as opposed to the other one. This compass actually does work as long as I'm not too close to my microphone where it gets to spinning. So this thing is, it's pretty cool, but this one didn't come with a survival kit in it. Not that I need it, but this was a knife that I always wanted. Now, an actual crane, an actual Jack Crane Life Support System 1. So this is the Life Support. It says Life Support System 1 because that was what's on the blade. It's a different font, everything. Like I said, this is a replica. It doesn't have the crane knife markings on it, so it's not an actual knockoff. This is a movie replica. So they got as close as they could, and they put the movie name on it, but this is the Life Support System 1. And this thing is, I've always wanted one of these. And like I said, I don't have $3,000 to $5,000 to get a Jack Crane. Jack Crane has passed away, by the way. We watched the in Spanish, so it wasn't subjugated to the heavy Austrian accent. Oh, okay, you watched that, okay. But this was an iconic movie knife. I remember seeing it because it had these crazy lines. It has this drop here. It's got this big cutout here, which was the first thing that I saw. I was like, that's an insane knife. And it's a big knife in my hand. It's a really big knife. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I could almost get a double-handed grip on this, and I wear XXL gloves. This is a big, big knife, and I absolutely love it. I always wanted one of these. This is one of my favorite movie knives. Like, this is something that I didn't recognize it anywhere else. I didn't see it in any other movies that I could remember, and this stood out, and I always wanted one. Now, my buddy Tino has a huge collection of movie knives. We are going to go to his house as soon as I figure out what's going on with my microphones. I was going to tell you guys this. I'm having audio issues, bad audio issues. I got one microphone that records at a very low volume. And then I got one microphone that only works if I use the lavalier. So I'm trying to get at least one of those issues fixed so that I can go over to my buddy's house. I'll mic him up. I'll be there. We're going to look at his entire knife collection, but he has a huge collection of movie knives, and he's getting more of them. He's getting himself one of these. He got himself one of these. He's probably going to get one of these and start putting them up, but he's going to do it in a fashion where it's like, he already has an idea. He's going to put it like in a frame, and then behind the knife hanging, there's going to be like the artwork from the movie or a DVD, and it's going to all be in there, and the knives will be with their artwork from the movie, even if it's not like a movie knife. Like, there are knives from movies, like I said, The Crow, the original Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, a lot of other knives the Cold Steel Taipan has been in. It really has. And then you start getting into some of the other stuff that is just knives that are in movies that people don't notice. I've seen the military, not the military 2 necessarily. I've seen the military by Spyderco in a ton of movies. Same as with, where'd I put it? This one. This knife has been in a lot of movies. The Spyderco Police has been in a ton of movies. And I just I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I'm like, what's the Joker? The Joker knife. I can't remember who made that switch. But the thing is, if you watch that night, the Dark Knight, he's got 3 different knives throughout that movie. One is obviously, I think it's a Microtech Combat Troodon. at one point, if I remember right. He's got one that is not the double-edged one that he has when he holds the girl at the top. So at any rate, there's several different versions of that knife. And everybody's like, oh, well, they just use different. It could be that he just used a different knife, like you see guys grab a different firearm in a movie. And if you're here, please drop a like, it helps. I got to tell you guys, we're going to pause for this for a second. I'm using this. I needed a little bit of YouTube subscriber therapy. So my mother had to have an emergency hip replacement because she had a hip that came apart. Like it fell apart. It was broken. They were like, well, we have to do the emergency replacement surgery. So she's in and out of the hospital. And then my sister is taking care of everything and stuff like that. And then I find out that a friend of mine for a lot of years, passed away. Yesterday, at the same time, one of my favorite actors and singers, Chris Christopherson, passed away, which that's not that big a deal. Like, I don't know him personally, but I have a longtime friend that passed away. And then I talked to a friend of mine this morning, and he's like, how are you doing? I was like, well, I'm fighting off a migraine, because I am. It's brewing, I can feel it. And he goes, yeah, I'm fighting cancer. And I'm like, well, you win. You know, you always been a one-upper. But I talked to him this morning, so I've got to talk to him later today because he just got diagnosed like 2 weeks ago, and he's just telling me now. And I'm like, great, thanks, way to dump that on me first thing before I do a live feed. So there's a knife. I'm pretty sure, no, I can't say for certain, but I'm pretty sure that one of the knives that he had was a Combat Troodon or something very similar to the Combat Troodon. I appreciate it, but I've come to realize that the thoughts and prayers thing is just, it's more for the friends than it is the actual help. I mean, my friend is really religious, so he will thank you for it. There's a push dagger. Now, this is not the one I had, and I got rid of it. The original one that I had, push dagger, was different. I had the Cold Steel Peacemaker or Peacekeeper. I can't remember which it was. And it was the V ground. It wasn't this chisel ground one, but this is, so at any rate, Tom Berenger's character in Platoon, the bad guy that everybody wanted to see snuffed, carried this. It was on the front of his shirt, and that's what he used to cut the protagonist. I can't, what was the, who played the main character in that? Played Chris. I can't even put it in my head. I know the name. Charlie Sheen. It was Charlie Sheen. That's who it was. He cut under Charlie Sheen's eye with that knife. He was the sergeant. So this knife has been in a lot of movies as well. This knife, it's a predecessor. The Peacemaker was in that Vietnam era flick that Tom Berenger carried, and he cut Charlie Sheen's eye with this knife. Not this one, that knife. Why do I keep doing that? I wish I could think of the name off the top of my head, but where I was going to get at is Cold Steel. When you really want to look at it, Cold Steel's knives, this is the counterattack. It was a Troodon. Just looked it up when he pretended to be dead, then cuts the gangster leader with the tree. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've gotten, after doing 3,000 videos on this channel about various knives, I've gotten really good at picking knives out of a lineup. So let me see here. Let's see. Tell me if this audio changes at all. If the audio changes, then I'll correct it. I know how to correct the issue. But we're going to go out here because I do have something cool that I wanted to show you guys. Let's go out to the studio. We're not doing this in the studio for one particular reason, and it's because the studio is a fucking mess because we hung out here all weekend, and I did a bunch of editing and stuff, and I played with the dog, and I had some beers with some friends and watched some movies. But where did I put that very, very cool item that I wanted to show you guys? Did I put it back in the box? I bet I did. I did. So this is a studio. If you guys haven't ever seen the studio, it's a mess. This is my little mini arcade. These are all playable arcade games. I have Dragon's Lair. I have Missile Command, 1942, Asteroids. My PS5 lives out here. This is an actual Coke machine with a vendor in it, but it's actually a refrigerator. But yeah, all this, the studio is basically where I spend all my time. There's one of my numerous red flannels. But I did have something cool I wanted to show you. You're probably going to see in movies. Guys, I have to tell you, I don't know if you have, you probably haven't seen the video yet. I bought, because I like flannels, and I didn't have any flannels for a long time because my wife was like, I don't like them. And I just really got to a point where I'm like, well, I don't care anymore. I want some flannel shirts. And I ordered a 3-pack, and I thought I bought the variety 3-pack of flannel shirts. There should have been a red one. I think there was a red one, a blue one, and something else. And I ordered some flannel shirts. Well, I got 3 flannel shirts, which is what I ordered. Unfortunately, I didn't look at the description real well when I ordered it, and I ordered 3 of the same shirt. So I have 3 of those red shirts. Is the audio still fine? Because I just reconnected the... What? You told your wife? So my wife, yeah, my wife and I have been married for 23 years. And you reach a point, where, like, there's things I can say to my wife after being married for 23 years that I wouldn't even have thought about saying when we were married for 5. Like, my wife said something, I was like, well, that's good, I don't fucking care. And my buddy looked at me and he was like, because my buddy's only been married for a couple years, he looked at me, he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, bro, like, you reach a point where you're just able to say whatever you want in a relationship. You reach a point. And the whole thing, and also the thing is, you'll see those shirts a lot. Like, you see this shirt a lot. This shirt usually just hangs up and I put it, it's almost like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when I come into the studio. I'll grab, this hangs on the back of the door and I'll wear it for a few days just as like a jacket in the studio, because this time of year, it gets, it's only 50, right now it's 66 degrees. So for California, it's kind of, it was 55 degrees when I woke up this morning. So I'll put on a flannel and I'll just wear it like a jacket. And I'm like, it's not dirty. So I'll wear it for a few days. So you're going to see those red shirts a lot. I had a buddy ask me one time, he's like, hey, what do you and your wife talk about? And I was like, man, I've been married, at the time, I was like, I've been married for like 19 years. I was like, I've been married almost 20 years. I was like, I don't talk with my wife. He said, what do you mean? I was like, it's a beautiful point where you reach a point in your marriage where you maybe, like, I don't think I talked to my wife at all yesterday, except for her to tell me that she told me that she was going to work, and I told her that it was time, that my daughter was getting off the trolley, so because she needed to know to go pick her up. She said, well, let me know when she gets close to the trolley station, because my wife's phone, for some reason, she doesn't get texts here at the house. And I was like, so my daughter texted me, she's like, hey, I'm almost at the train station. I was like, hey, kid's almost here. That was the extent of our conversation. So my friend was like, what do you and your wife talk about? And I was like, I don't talk with my wife. Like, what? I just nod my head. It's like, if she is talking to me, I nod my head and I grunt, and then I'm like, I hope I didn't buy something. There's times she's like, I'm like, nod my head and grunt. And I'm like, wait, whose house are we? Oh, fuck, I hate going to their house. I got news for you. It's the best, like, that when you reach that point of your relationship, that's the best part of your relationship. Did you guys see something fall behind me? Oh, I got to clean the ceiling fan. That was dust on the ceiling. We had a few, it gets really dusty here where I live, and it sticks on ceiling fan blades. That's exactly what it was. I guarantee it, because I see some of it. Yeah, there's some of it right here. So we have this weird, like, it's almost like lint. I don't know if there's like a clothing processor or something close to us, but we get all this dirt and lint and stuff, and it catches on the ceiling fan. And about every 2 or 3 months, I'll get the ladder out and I'll clean the ceiling fan, and I haven't done it. And that's what that was. That's an accumulation of all the dust from living in the city falling off the ceiling fan. So, the cool knife that came. And if you're a paying member, you already saw it. I got another gravity knife that came in from Jared. So this is a really, really cool gravity knife. And the first time I ever saw one of these, I thought it was like an OTF, but it's not. And I grabbed this because this is the blade style. So one of the knives in the Joker, because we were talking about the Dark Knight, one of the knives that the Joker used was this gentle clip point style blade. And I don't remember what scene, but it was that style. It wasn't this knife, but it was definitely that style blade. And that's what we talked about, that made me think of it. But this is a really cool knife that Jared sent me for review. I'd never gotten to see one. I've seen these before, but this is the first I've gotten to see one. It's not self-cleaning. I have to get up there, and the best way to do it, the best way to clean it is you take, my wife hates it because it's hard to clean them after, because the stuff is really like sooty. I live in the city. I literally live really, really close to the freeway. I can walk to the freeway ramp. So the freeway runs basically behind our housing area. It's not a high traffic area. Plus there's all kinds of stuff. There's a road right behind my yard, and the neighbor doesn't have grass. So like every time he goes out and cleans up his yard, he rakes up, it's like rocks and dirt. There's no grass in his yard. He just doesn't want it. So he'll rake up and get like all the dog shit and stuff, because he has a dog that he puts out in that yard. And there's all kinds of dust that goes everywhere. It goes everywhere. It's dusty. It's dusty here. Plus, San Diego is a desert. I don't know if you know that. So we get all this dust, and it accumulates on the ceiling fan. There we go. And really long story to tell you something that shouldn't have taken that long. No, I'm not drinking a beer, by the way. I'm drinking a Rockstar. I'm hoping with the proper amounts of caffeine, this migraine can be avoided. I don't know if you guys know this. I have found that for me, caffeine absolutely will push away one of my migraines, especially if I haven't had a lot. What is this 3N+1? So this, like I said, this is the knife that I've seen a ton of times in movies. Another one is the Police, but the serrated version. I don't know what 3N+1. I don't know what that is. I shits you not. I shits you not. And Satan said, put letters in the math. I'm not doing an algebra question. No, this thing's amazing. I absolutely love this. I'll tell you what the best thing about this, I started carrying this again. I made myself put it away, because like the other knife that's in my pocket, these will stay in my pocket together, and I won't carry anything else, which is I'm gonna do the final videos on these. These are probably the best two knives I've ever bought. Like this is a tie for my Norseman, right? This is a tie for my Norseman. As far as my favorite knives, this is a tie for my Norseman. What about the knife Bennett had? Okay, I'll tell you a story, because we did some research on this. So, my buddy and I did some research on it. He's making the knife that Bennett had from the movie, because you can't buy it, because it was made for the movie. Jack Crane made the knives for the movie Commando. So he made the knives for the movie. The daggers that Arnold Schwarzenegger used, but he refused to make knives for villains. So they went out and they got a 1918 trench knife and put a blade from another knife on that handle. So my buddy Tino has a replica 1918 trench knife, the brass handle with the the guard, and then the typical 1918 trench knife blade. It's got a little cap. It's a hollow tang. It's a replica. It's a piece of crap. He found the knife that they used as the donor blade, and he's making the knife from that Bennett had from that movie. He actually has it. He's going to take the blade out. He's going to weld the threaded part of the tang onto the blade that he got. He's going to hang on a second. My daughter texted me. I got to grab my other phone so I can read what she told me. But at any rate, so he's going to put the blade in. We're going to set it up so that it's epoxied in that handle to give the handle the proper weight. And he's going to thread the cap back on, and he's going to have the knife from the from that movie. He's going to have Bennett's knife, so he can have it next. He's getting himself one of these as well. He has one of these on order. He got this one from him for my birthday present, and then the guy took down the listing, so he reached out to him, and the guy is making him another one. So you can't get a Crane life support. So that's why I'm not too upset about this being kind of a knockoff-ish, because Jack Crane died. As a matter of fact, Jack Crane died and screwed over a bunch of people. Not saying that he's a horrible person or anything, but, well, hey, hang on a second. We're going to do this. We're going to do this different. We're going to do this different. I'm going to leave this plugged in, and I'm just going to take you guys, because what was this somebody asked me? Okay, I'm going to grab my other phone because I need to see what my daughter texted me. It's like she's kind of worried. I don't know. She took the trolley to... good wishes from Texas. Thank you very much. I have some really cool knives that came in from Jared, and one of them came from Texas. Let me see. Okay, I'm actually... oh, there we go. Oh, pardon. So this is new. This is new. My daughter is going to school on her... She's in college. 16, but she's in college, so we've got to let her have some freedom. So she's taking the trolley to and from school, and we just pick her up at the trolley station. And the trolley station, guys, I found this out yesterday. I went to go pick her up yesterday. It was the day before. Day before. My wife picked her up yesterday. Day before... No, it was yesterday, because she went to an event on campus just to meet friends and stuff. Like, she's trying to make new friends. So at any rate, let's get you connected back up. Now we're charging. I took her, yes, that's what it was. I was playing video games yesterday, so I took her to the trolley station. I dropped her off. I watched her get on a train, and I was back home before my PlayStation 5 controller turned itself off. That's how close we are to the trolley station. And the thing is, she gets a free trolley pass. She has an unlimited pass to use the MTS system anywhere in San Diego. There is a Smith & Wesson Extractor 1600 OTF on Arizona custom knives for $850, while the Joker made it expensive to own. Is that one of the knives that was on there? I don't know. I don't know. No, I forget what we were talking about with movie knives. This should be a movie knife. Oh, but at any rate, this is the problem I have with this. See this? Watch this. It didn't close all the way. There's also the Heretic set from John Wick. Yeah, the Heretics were expensive. Did you see those guys that made the Fat PP also made a John Wick titanium pencil? Like, that's cool. Imagine Microtech PR team on that world, LOL. I don't know. At any rate, favorite knife I've owned. Hands down, I mean, well, this and my Norseman are tied for my favorite knives of all time. This is not just knife of the year. This is now my knife of the decade. This thing is absolutely incredible. And everybody is, I was telling people, well, it's, you know, they're making them in China. This is not made in China. It's 100% American made. $301. Use my Blade HQ link down below if you want to get one of these. This thing is the best knife I've purchased. It's this exact one, $301 right now for a made in America, beautifully done folder. It's amazing. Well, tungsten carbide. Hey, tungsten. Do you have, the ergers haven't been for me. Here's the thing. This was obviously a knife meant for someone with large hands. This fits my hands perfect. This fits my hands perfect. It is an incredible knife in hand. but I'm not a normal-sized human being, so that makes a lot of sense. This feels like it was meant for me. I got the Kirby thing. It's hard for me to do it. But absolutely beautiful, thin behind the edge profile. This thing is great. Yeah, you wear XL, triple XL? Yeah, I wear triple XL. Or XL, double XL. I wear triple XL gloves. I got really big hands. And it just fits my hand perfect. I can squeeze into a double XL, but if they're work gloves, I just blow the fingers out. And the index finger seems slightly thin. I mean, I can see that. Oh, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. That right there. It did bother me at first. I get my finger in a different position, and once I get locked into it, it feels fine. It's great. This thing feels great, and it's got one of the best pocket clips ever. But then this is right up there. I have to say that the 3 knives that I'm happiest with having bought are this one, my Norseman, and the Norseman was just because I had to have one. I've always dreamt. I had a custom ordered one with John Grimsmo before I quit my government job, and I canceled that order because I was like, well, I'm starting a business. At the time, I was starting a business. Had to have one, so I got one later. I saved up for 5 years for it. This much more affordable. You could buy 3 of these for what I paid for 3.5 of these for what I paid for my Norseman. And it's every bit as good. It really is. And I told Tony the last time I got a chance to talk to him, this thing's amazing. It really is. The custom versions were even better. And it's fun. It's a fun knife. This one's up there as well. This one's up there as well. This is my Military 2, my Spyderco Military 2. This thing's incredible. And anytime you see me do something to a knife, oh, really? I'll have to talk to David. Anytime I add things to a knife or modify a knife, you know that I love it. Because then I'm saying, like, it's not going anywhere. Like, if I re-anodize a knife or I customize the knife to me, you know that it's not going anywhere. This one, I added a tritium. Basically, I put a radioactive butt plug in my knife. So that's a tritium vial. It glows at night. And that's really cool. Like, that's where I was going with this. I broke this back out and started carrying it again because I want to do the final video of it. And then I'll carry it whenever I want. This was on my bedstand last night. And I rolled over and I looked and I could see the 3 dots from the tritium night sights on my SIG. And then right next to it was this one. And it's just glow in the dark. You're like, yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Everything's going to be fine in the world. So, yeah, it's... Anybody got any other movie knives that they can think of? Because, like I said, Cold Steel has had... The Counterattack series has been in this has been in a ton of movies. This has been in a ton of movies. Bladed Ginger, send it to the public Discord. Guys, I have a public... Gilded Server. It's not a Discord. It's public chat, but it is a Gilded server that you can join. There's a link to it down below. I am going to change everything out, including for the paying members, to Discord, because the fact is now you have to have a Roblox account to use Gilded, and Jeremy over at Quartering said the same thing. He's getting, like, Gilded was great because you didn't have to worry about, like, the woke interference and censorship that you deal with on Discord. Like, as long as you weren't breaking the law, you could say what you wanted on your chats on Gilded. But now that you have to have a Roblox thing, a lot of people don't want a Roblox account. But they're using Roblox as servers now. So that means that all of that, it runs through there. So you have to have an account. If you don't mind doing it, I'm going to keep the Discord or the Gilded open, but it's going to take a little bit. But you can go through it. You don't have to use Roblox. You just have to have an account. That's how you log through. So I don't like it either. I was really upset about it. So I am going to absolutely make an actual Discord. It's going to take a while. So if you want to join that public community down below, you can. I haven't been on there in a while, but it looks just like Discord. If you don't mind doing, I can show you what it looks like. It looks just like Discord. It's just a chat server. So that's the public. And a couple people did join. Let's see here. Saturday joined. So, any rate, it's something that I did. I have a private one for the paying members, but guys, by the way, if you're a paying member and you're watching this, I did the giveaway. Nobody claimed those knives, and I said this the last time. I've tried to give those, all but one of those knives that I'm giving away have been parts of multiple giveaways. Those knives are staying in my collection now. So I tried to give them away. I gave everybody that's a member has access to those videos. Everybody, I may do it at a later date. I'm putting them back on the shelf, but right now I'm frustrated because I've tried to give knives away 3 times. That's why it took so long for me to do another one. I got frustrated the last time. I put the time into setting it up, doing the giveaway, and getting stuff slated, and then nobody claims their items. So if you're a paying member, I am going to do another giveaway, and I will put up the video so you should get a notification. If you're a member and you don't have notifications turned on for the channel, you're not going to find the stuff. So that $450 worth of knives that I tried to give away last week, they're going to go right back on the shelf and they'll stay there. I'm going to try and do the other 2 knives. I tried to give 2 knives away, and I got 2 more knives that I'm going to give away. And I don't know. Like that was the giveaways for the year, all 4 quarters. I try to do it quarterly. I just kind of screwed up, so I was basically, I'll do all 4 quarters. I picked 2 winners. No one emailed me. I even responded to a guy that I think was the winner. I don't remember. I filmed the video, and I like, how do I know if I won? Watch the video. And then I never got an email from anyone claiming their stuff. So it's 48 hours. If you don't claim the items, they go back in my collection. So, I don't know. You would have to go, Cow, you would have to be a member, and you would have to go back and well, you're not a member. So you have to be a paying member, and you'd have to go watch the members only video, because that's how I release it. I can't do a giveaway for members only like this, because YouTube doesn't do it. But if I do a members only video, those people that I pick are going to get the notification. So I did a post and I did a video, and I never got a response. I had people respond in the comments like, hey, that's great, thanks. So it's just, you can, well, Mikey, here's the thing. You got to be a paying member to get something that I did for the paying members. It's like Jared does the same thing for his Patreons. I don't have Patreon. I hate Patreon. Why don't you pull winners and then some alternate winners in case the original winners don't reply? Because I had been doing that, and it's, like I said, I have to film individual videos for that, and it's time consuming, and I had told everybody the last time I did a giveaway, I'm not doing it anymore. If you don't reply, those knives go back, and if I decide I'm going to do when I decide to do a giveaway again, like the next quarter, it might roll into that, or if I change my mind, it might just go back into my collection. But I try really hard to give nice stuff to the paying members. So, like I said, I'm going to do the 1 more, and then maybe just put them on hiatus, because it just feels silly to keep trying to do it. So the last time I did a giveaway was the last quarter of 2023, and nobody claimed those knives. And I put them back in, and I did a giveaway. The 1 knife was not part of it. At any rate, so if you're a paying member, you got to watch the member only section of the videos. You got to find those videos that are members only. You should get notified. If you're a paying member and you don't have notifications turned on, then I can't do any more than that. I can't, like, other than trying desperately to find your personal address and drive to your house, I can't do anything more than that. So, Plenipote, well, you didn't win anyway, so It doesn't really matter. I don't know. I might do it. I got to film the other one. I have 2 more knives that I'm going to try and give away before the end of the year. It's just, it's time. It's a pain in the ass, time consuming, and it's frustrating. So I'll get it done and I'll get it up. But yeah, that's you know, I mean, I'm trying to give you something. That's like the public Discord. Like, I'm giving you something for free. You don't even have to have a fucking membership to be a paying member. It gets frustrating. And I talked with other people that have. So I have some other channels. They're not knife channels that I communicate with either on Instagram or Twitter through the what do you call it? The DM section. And they're like, yeah, I stopped doing giveaways. He's like, it's a pain. And then you put up the video for the members only, and then no one claims it, and then you're like, okay, well, you know, I can only like continue to track you down for so long, and then you like either get rid of the item or it goes back into the stock and it gets sold. And so one of the guys has merch, and he had a package of like limited time merch, and he tried to do a giveaway. Well, no one claimed it. So he just rolled it right back into the sales section. He's like, 3 weeks later, a guy reaches out to him. 3 weeks after, you know, after the end of the giveaway, like almost a month later, the guy's like, oh yeah, hey man, I guess I won. I need to claim my stuff. He's like, I don't have it anymore. And that guy got all pissed and like tried to throw a fit and called him out on Twitter and was like, yeah, this guy fucking did this and he said it was a giveaway. And then I was like, well, he held your stuff for 3 weeks. He was trying to give you something for free. He held it for 3 weeks. You didn't claim it. Like, he held it for like a week, I think. And he was like, all right, well, it goes back into being sold. And I was like, how do you get mad? Like, how do you get mad at something like that? So, plus one of the knives is a really nice knife, and it would look really good in my collection. Look even better in my pocket. I mean, it wasn't something, the thing is, the stuff that's on my channel that goes for giveaways, it's not stuff that was like, oh, you have to do it as a giveaway. The stuff I'm giving you is sometimes stuff I bought or stuff that was given to me for the channel. Like, no, keep it if you like it, do whatever, it's yours. And sometimes that goes into giveaway because I just have too many knives. Stuff comes in. I haven't gotten new stuff in for a while, so, you know, I might start doing, but like a lot of the giveaway stuff comes from companies. Vosteed, Rosecraft, QSP. QSP sent me a lot of stuff. That was a lot of giveaway stuff. Rosecraft, it's stuff that comes in and it gets done as giveaways because I can't keep every knife that companies send me. Sometimes I don't want to. Sometimes I really like the knives, but you know, it's nice to get free stuff in, but it doesn't. It's not the end all be all. Like, I definitely still buy stuff every once in a while for the channel. One of the big ones is people are like, how can you be objective if a company gives you a knife? And I'm like, I can be more objective. For you guys that are new to the channel, I get free knives all the time from companies. But people are like, how can you be objective about a knife when a company gives you a knife for free? And I can explain it real easily. Let me see. What do I have that's pricey? This. Let's look at this. Well, I can't, no, because I didn't put money on this. My buddy let me use his points. That's not, okay, look at this. If Spyderco had sent me this knife, it would be a lot easier for me to be critical of this knife if a company sends it to me. Because this knife was just shy of $250, I think. This knife was $302. So if I drop $300 on a knife, right, and it comes in, I'm in the honeymoon period. I bought this knife. I spent my money on it. I don't want to find anything wrong with it because it's my knife. I bought it. So knives that I buy, typically the honeymoon period, I have to wait to do a final review like I have with this one because I have found things wrong with it. If somebody sends me a knife, I've not spent any money on it. I don't care whether it's a good knife or a bad knife. Like, I can look at it and go, well, that tip's fucked up and this is wrong and that's wrong, and not feel bad, not feel like I've wasted money. This knife I bought with my own money. I have found a couple things wrong with it. Little things. But nowhere near as fast as, say, something that a company sent me or something that someone gave me. If the company had sent this to me, I would have much more quickly noticed a couple issues with the edge grind and the center line. Well, I'm sorry, because I didn't pay for this. I much more quickly noticed a couple things. Rose tinted glasses, exactly. You're in a honeymoon period. You just spent that money. You're all happy. It's like when you buy a new car and you're all happy with it, but then you start to notice, like, it's got a, I was like, was that rattle always there? Yeah, it probably was, but you didn't want to hear it because you just dropped 40 grand on a car, right? I didn't pay for this. My buddy sent this, let me use his points. It came to me, and very quickly, after I got past the, wow, that's really, really cool, I noticed a couple little issues. The center line on the tip of this knife is not 100% from side to side. This is slightly off on this side with the company markings, slightly off center. It's not bad. Like, it is as close as you're gonna get in most daggers, but let me turn this around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But you can see it's slightly off from the dead center termination, right? See how this side is a little bit off? Or this side is like almost dead center. It's just one of those things you notice. Now, I'm not gonna get too upset because the fact is daggers are hard. Daggers are hard to keep that consistent. So, not really frustrated with it. It had a little bit of a tip issue that I noticed. It's a hollow. It is a hollow grind on both. So it's hard to do a hollow and keep that center line ridge. They did a very good job on it. It is off on this side. I'm sorry. This side is the side that's off. It's the Taipan side. It's slightly off on this. Well, the nice thing is I'm really good at sharpening. I'm really good at maintaining my angle, and I'm really good at managing that side to side and knowing how much material I'm removing. And so I was able to fix the actual tip issue that centerline ridge had caused. So it's not that big of a deal, but it had a little bit of a weirdness to the tip that then I fixed in sharpening. So this thing is ridiculously sharp. Their Sanmai, cold steel Sanmai, is so good. It really is. Their VG1 Sanmai, I love VG1. It's a good steel. It is just incredible, and it gives it a good look. I could grind it thinner. I have a grinder. I have my knife grinder here. It doesn't need to be thinner. It's very good. It's very slicey, and this is nimble. So I took martial arts. I took edged weapons, like how to use knives and stuff like that. And in doing some knife drills, like how you would manipulate a knife, this is a very nimble knife. The balance on this is so good. Like, it sits right at the center, right here. And so that allows you to have really good control of that blade and know where the tip of the blade is all the time, so that you know it's just a very good knife if you're looking for a fighting knife. Like, this is a fighting knife. Do I need a fighting knife now? No. When I was in the military, I probably could have gotten away with carrying this. I don't know. They weren't keen on daggers. By the time I was in the military, it wasn't like back in the 70s where you could just basically carry like a Mark II dagger and stuff like that. It's not like that anymore. It's not. They really throw a fit when you start carrying stuff. This probably would have been, it's a stupid thing to say. It's like the Mark II, they stopped issuing the Gerber Mark II to the military because it looked too aggressive. And I'm like, you are in a combat theater. Like, the Green Berets stopped getting it issued to them because it looked too deadly. And I'm like, so because of appearances, you're gonna kneecap your own troops and not issue them the best equipment. What does it mean to cut hair standing up? Is that sharper? So there's different levels of sharpening. Like, you can cut hair. Let's show you. So you can take your arm and you can cut your arm hair. Like this will do it. And you can see a little pile of, I don't know how well you can see it. There's a little pile of hair, so there's a bald spot on my arm now. That's really, really sharp. But if you can whittle a hair and like touch it and cut into the hair, that is extreme sharpness. But the problem with those super fine edges like that, because a lot of times you see it, the edge like that, when they do that, is a little bit thinner and they don't hold up as well. So yes, this cuts hair and it cuts it really well. Like it's shaving. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Ceiling fan's on too, so I don't know how well you guys can see that. So you had a guy with a katana. No, I have a katana. I have several katanas. But you do, yeah, there you go, exactly, Vinny. You lose that edge really quickly, and then that gets into like the sustainability of that edge. So that really super fine edge, that's not gonna last long. Now, I will say, I've cut a bunch of paper. I've cut a bunch of paper with this, but paper's really hard on an edge. So that's holding its edge really well. So there's like different levels of sharp, but there's also different types of sharp. Like I can sharpen a knife to 300 grit, have a super, super toothy edge. It's razor sharp. It's fine enough to cut paper. Sorry. But it will lose, it's not toothy enough to cut a lot of stuff. In the military, guy with a katana. No. We had a guy that had one sent as a joke, but he wasn't allowed to carry it. We didn't. That's what I need to do, though. I need to do goofy military stories of stuff that we used to, like on my last ship, me and one of the other supervisors, we decided we got 3 new guys come in, and we knew they were coming. And I was like, look, I really want to troll these guys hard for a while. Like I have an idea, and I was like, but we've got to get everyone together, like all the guys. And all the guys in our department, not just our guys that work for us, all the guys in the department are like, what? And I was like, we're going to make up a guy. We're going to make up a guy. And then, because it's always funny to do this, like, hey, go send somebody to find somebody. And I can't remember what we said that the guy's name was, but we came and we got everybody together. And so when these guys showed up, the first day they showed up at muster, I had gotten our chief and our division officers. Has anybody seen, I think we named him Watkins. Has anybody seen Watkins? I was like, oh, he's off doing this. And our division officer, all right, make sure he knows this and make sure he knows that because he's got all this stuff to do. And so we're going through all this stuff, right? And every day the guys would come out. I was like, hey, has anybody seen Watkins? And one of their guys would go, yeah, he's up on watch or wherever, you know. He's on watch up in combat or doing something. And so these 3 new guys had never seen this guy. And this went on for weeks. And I would tell them, I was like, go up to 5-2 and find Watkins. And they'd go up to Mount 5-2. They'd go back to Mount 5-2, the aft gun mount, the 5-inch gun mount, 51, 52, primary ships self-defense forces. And so the whole crew of gun guys and missile guys and the radar guys, all of the combat systems guys were in on this. And so I'm like, yeah, go back to the aft gun mount and get Watkins. And they go back and there's GM3 Lee and they're like, hey, where's Watkins? And I was like, they're like, oh, he's like, I think he's downstairs in the lower magazine. So they go down the ladder, lower magazine's locked. They come back up, yeah, he's not down there. I was like, oh, then he must have went up to the office. And they run around the ship and they come back and you had to manage it because you did want them doing work, but it was fun to fuck with them. And so you'd send one of them out and this kid comes back and he's like, Guns, I've been all over the boat and I don't even know what Watkins looks like. And I'm like, well, he's just a little bit shorter than me, dark skin and really, really weird, like light brown eyes, like hazel eyes. And he's like, I've never seen anyone like that on the ship. And I was like, really? I was so they're all over the place. And I'm like, how come Watkins is never on the watch bill? I was like, well, Watkins is doing something else, or Watkins stands watch in combat, or this and that. And I was like, for weeks it goes on. And I go in the gun mount one time and I'm sitting around a corner in the back and I'm reading a book because I was taking a break. And I got my feet up on a rack full of 72-pound projectiles and I'm reading a book. And one of the kids, I hear him come in and I was like, guys, I don't think this guy actually exists. Like, I think they're fucking with us. And I was like, all right, we're going to have to let it go. It took like a month or longer for them to realize that this guy didn't even exist. And we just trolled them all over the place. Like, and the other guys, like, it just became second nature. It was like, send him to go look for somebody. It's like, have you seen Watkins? He's back aft, or he's up forward, or he's down in the magazine, or he's taking a break. Or we'd go to quarters in the morning, and like we'd be in port, and the guys, division officer was like, "Where's Watkins?" And I was like, he's got a doctor's appointment. He's over at the base clinic. He had to be there first thing this morning." Like, they never saw him, and they're like, "This is getting weird. Like, does this guy actually exist?" So we did that. I fired potatoes out of a saluting battery. So saluting battery is an old 40 millimeter. This is the last one I'm going to tell, but it's an old 40 millimeter cannon, and it's got this lever action breech, and when you would lower it down, it would open the breech. When you lift it up, if you push it all the way forward, the firing pin strikes, and it fires. And it's got a threaded barrel because it was a 40 millimeter deck cannon, and that's just how you. And it takes these blanks that are like 40. They're long. They're 40 millimeter, and you shove them in, and it's for saluting batteries to just make a big noise. And it's got this set screw that goes all the way down into the barrel really far, so that you can't, like, it's at the back, so you can't load an actual projectile in it. It's got this screw that runs down into the barrel. But you can load a potato with a broomstick from the muzzle. So I basically made a muzzle loader. So I would go, because you do it every month. It was a monthly thing. You would fire it twice. And I would go down to the mess decks and say, give me a couple potatoes. I'd get my broomstick, and I'd look, and I'd make sure that nobody was up watching on the bridge wing, and I was like, got permission to do the check, and I'd load the potato down the barrel with the broomstick and push it all the way to the back where that set screw was, and then I'd load it, and it would fire a potato from here to Christmas. Like, you just watch it, you're like, it's gone. Look at it go. So I had two of the new guys with me, and I was showing them how to do that maintenance check, like how to fire it and clean it and everything like that. It was mounted out on the deck. And I shoved the potato in a barrel, and I fire it, and I'm looking while I'm doing it, and I'm watching. Nobody's out on the bridge wings. No one's watching me because I'm out on the forecastle, the very front of the ship. And I was like, all right, we had permission to fire. I fire it, boom, fire it. And all of a sudden, up on the bridge wing, I hear, gunner's mate. And I look up, and there's the captain. Captain Kenny G. Captain Kenneth Golden. Dude's a monster. He's like he looked like a door with a head on it. And he looked down at me and goes, what was that? And I was like, potato. And he goes, do it again. I was like, all right. So I load the potato in, and I shove it, and I fire it. And he goes, all right, that was cool. Don't ever fucking do it again. He's like, I hope you got it out of your system. He's like, yeah, that was pretty neat. Don't ever fucking do it again. Like, he's yelling down from the bridge wing at me. I was like, won't ever do that again. I mean, you could have always went by. Yeah, he's giant. He had to have been, Captain Golden had to have been like 6'6". 6'6". I watched him grab my cousin Chad by the ankle and pick him up with one arm, pick him up like with his ankle and hold him and shake him as a joke because it was funny. And he grabbed his ankle and lifted him up so quick that Chad's head didn't even hit the floor. He was a great dude. He was that was that captain I've said so many times. Like, there's nothing I wouldn't have done for that commanding officer. But yeah, hey guys, I don't want to keep this long. I'm still fighting that headache. I'm going to go out into my dark studio and sit out there and listen to music because this headache is definitely starting to take hold. So it's been fun. Like I said, I needed this. Got a lot of bad news and stuff going on right now, and I kind of needed just a way to kind of just like not think about it. And this was great. It was fun. So we have got a lot of people that watch this. If you haven't dropped a like, I'd appreciate it. If you haven't followed the channel, I'd appreciate it. But just this live feed, looks like we got about 2,000 views-ish. Let's see. Last 60 minutes, about 1,500 views, which is cool on this live feed. So I hope my head feels better, but I don't think there's much chance of it looking better. So, yeah, guys, keep your powder dry, keep your knife sharp, and I'll see you guys in the next video.